Here in this example, we're going to determine the area of trapezoid JUST, which has the vertices at J is at coordinate -4, -2, U is at coordinate -2 and 2, S is at coordinates 1, 2, and T is at coordinates 5 and -2. So as we've done previously, I've got my graph paper here. Again, you should always use graph paper, or at least be able to draw something out if you have a nice steady hand. I'm going to go ahead and put in my axes here. Here's my y-axis. And of course my x-axis. Now I'm going to plot each of these vertices and see what this trapezoid looks like. So we have J, which is at -4, -2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. That's J. U is at -2 and 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. S is at 1 and 2, 1, and then 1, 2. And then T is at 5 and -2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect these segments here, make our trapezoid. And there we go. So it lends a nice visual as far as what's going on, a better understanding of what's occurring. Now, a couple of things I want to point out. A trapezoid, that's a quadrilateral with one pair of opposite sides parallel to each other. And it looks like it's these two. And we're also looking for an area of the trapezoid. If you recall, the area of a trapezoid, that is the height. And we have two bases. We have this base here and this base here. The bases are the two segments that are parallel to each other. So we just designate it as base sub 1 plus base sub 2. And since we have two bases that we add together, we can then think of we have to divide by 2. So this is how we find the area of a trapezoid. So what I need to do is I need to find the length of this base. Visually, this is the good part about graphing it, is visually we could see, we could just count off. The distance from this point here, point U to point S, is 1, 2, and then 3. Or we could also do it algebraically. So, and we're just looking for a distance. So we can say that the length or the distance of that first base, that is known as the absolute value of x sub 1 minus x sub 2. The absolute value is always going to yield a positive result because, after all, we're talking about distance, and distance can never be negative. So I'm just going to designate this as x sub 1, y sub 1, and x sub 2, and y sub 2. So now I have -2. Minus 1, -2 minus 1, that's the absolute value of -3, and the absolute value of -3 is 3, which we knew anyways just by counting. So the length of base 1 is 3. Same process for the other base down here. That's the second base. That's going to be the absolute value of the distance between its x coordinates. We just label them x sub 1 and x sub 2. So I'm just going to do that. Here's x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. Now we can count off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So it looks like it has a distance of 9, or the length of this base would be 9. But we'll go ahead and we'll do it algebraically. So this is negative 4 minus 5. This comes out to be the absolute value of negative 9, and the absolute value of negative 9 is 9, which we figured by counting off. We'll do the same thing with the height. What we're doing is we're finding all these values here. We're using our understanding of a trapezoid and our understanding of distance between points to be able to build the characteristics of this plotted polygon here. Now the height is the perpendicular height, so that's going to go straight up. So we could count 1, 2, 3, 4. So it looks like the height of 4. But all we have to do is we'll do the same concept, except we're going to take the absolute value of y sub 1 minus y sub 2. So since we're going this way, I'm going to use these y's. I'll use this one and this one down here. So I've got 2 minus negative 2. That comes out to be 2 plus 2, which of course is the absolute value of 4, and the absolute value of 4 is 4. Which we knew by counting off. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now I have all my values here. So now I can determine the area. That's the height of 4. One of the bases is 3. The other base is 9. This is 4 times 12. Divided by 2, 4 times 12, that's 48. Divide that by 2, that becomes 24. And then we'll just say square units. Don't forget, since we're talking about an area, we have to designate it with a square so that we know that we're talking about an area. So 24 square units.